My name is Fun Hu. I'm a professor of wireless communications and am the head of Biomedical and Electronics Engineering Department in the Faculty of Engineering and Informatics at the University of Bradford. The university has recently received a multi-million pound donation from one of our alumni, Dr Murthy Reduchintala, to establish the Bradford-Reduchintala Centre for Space AI. And we aim to be recognized as a centre of excellence in space technology, with a focus on the application of artificial intelligence, distributed computing, and embedded electronics to develop autonomous information and communication solutions for space systems and their management. And this generous donation will enable the university to play an active role in the creation of cutting-edge technologies and to deliver educational programs in the space and satellite technology development. Murthy is an exemplar of our university alumni who has gone on to make his mark in society. He graduated from the university in 1991, holding a bachelor's degree in electrical and electronic engineering, a PhD in digital communications, and a Master of Business Administration. And since graduating, he has led a successful career which has seen him progress to Group President of the Client and Internet of Things Businesses and Systems Architecture and Chief Engineering Officer at Intel Corporation. His career and expertise have led him to be invited to partner with prominent industrial leaders and with the US government to lead on the transformations that these areas of technology will bring. So, Murthy, I'm going to ask you a few questions. So, what motivated you to come and study at Bradford?
Well, first of all, let me say, thank you very much for that most flattering introduction. As I hear you speak, it seems like I've achieved a lot, but it seems like the flash of an eyelid. So, again, thank you for that very kind introduction. You know, I wish I could say that my entry into Bradford was a result of deep evaluation of educational options, and Bradford ended up being a choice after much research. It wasn't anything like that, actually. I left high school just after my A-levels. I was lucky to employ those days called Pi Telecommunications in Cambridge, which later became part of Philips. And when I joined, they looked at my A-level grades and said, would I be interested in going to university through a sponsorship scheme that they had? Of course, I was delighted with the opportunity, given that it would alleviate my parents from having to pick up the tab. And they gave me a choice of 4 or 5 universities to choose from. I think most of them began with B. I think it was Bradford, Bath, Bristol, Brunel. It was strange, it was all Bs. I went to visit a few of them, and I happened to visit Bradford on a beautiful spring day. And I remember leaving Leeds railway station for that little putt-putt train that goes into Bradford, and went through some incredibly beautiful countryside, as opposed to some rather industrial-looking journeys I had to other institutes. And quite frankly, I got there, it was a beautiful day. I walked up the hill, Great Horton Road, and I came back and decided that was where I really wanted to go. So I think it was a mixture of having a limited amount of choice given the company predispositions that were presented to me, a lovely day, and just a memorable journey. So that's really how I ended up at Bradford. So pretty much a spur of the moment decision, I think.
I think that's interesting and brilliant because Bradford, I think we at that time the Electrical department was in the top 10 department in the UK.
Yeah.
So,
actually, to be honest, most of the departments I was looking at were well established academically, but I have to say it could have been very, very, very different had I had a cloudy day, I think.
Well, okay. Yeah, I think, this, there is a plan in everything. So anyway, so can you tell us what is your favorite Bradford memory in this case?
Well, I mean, I spent a lot of time in Bradford, as you cited, in terms of what I did there academically. I was there from about late 1983 all the way to the early part of 91 when I completed my MBA. I have to say that the studying was tough, but I think the thing that I really remember was just how easy it was for me to get into the Yorkshire countryside and just kind of like be in some of the most beautiful environments that I can remember being in. I still go back regularly. I've fallen in love with them. And I think for me, the most incredible memories I have was essentially the ability to just go take a break and be in the midst of some of the most beautiful countryside in the world every time I felt things were getting a little bit on top of me. So again, I would cherish those memories more than anything, the ability to really be connected to nature and the beautiful countryside that was around the Bradford environment.
And then what interests you about space AI and distributed computing research? I know that you work on quite relevant areas in your career.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, I think it just happens to be an incredible intersection point of so many important technology vectors that we're now moving into. In the valley where I'm located, in Silicon Valley, it certainly is a topic that has got huge mind share, and the degree to which it's now being pursued with vigor, both in large corporations and startup, is incredible. And the amount of energy that's being put in that space is really, really exciting to see. So it's really topical and relevant to the future of computing going forward. Its application to space, I think, is something that is, I think, a great opportunity for Bradford to find a degree of specialization and real focus and individual contribution, because Bradford's history in wireless, indeed yours and my history at Bradford, has had very close connections with satellite communications and space communications. So the ability to fuse artificial intelligence to applications in space, I think, really plays to Bradford's historical strength in wireless communications. And then finally, I think the whole concept of distributed computing, where essentially the computational requirements of the future and its interaction with AI is going to go towards having multiple compute clusters that have to coordinate and coherently communicate together to provide the compute power required for some of the workloads that have to be prosecuted going forward, is also extremely relevant. So the space communication aspects, the wireless communication aspects of that, the relevance of deep learning, machine learning, and neuromorphic computing towards our future, and the scale of computing required going towards distributed compute architecture, all of that coming together in confluence, I think, is a really poetic coming together of some really important topics. So I think it was just a natural opportunity that excited me, and I know it excited the university in going forward and pursuing.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it as well. But what inspired you to donate to the University of Bradford?
I've had the privilege of working with some incredibly successful and inspirational leaders in my time, who've actually really shown the benefit that philanthropic association with universities can really bestow. Some examples of people like Dr. Erwin Jacobs at Qualcomm, who started his career as an academic at MIT, then became the head of department of engineering at UCSD. He then went on to found Qualcomm. But one of the things that I think he made a great example of is how important it is for industry and companies of a technology nature to support the educational infrastructure around them. And I saw what Erwin was able to do with great benevolence to institutes like UCSD. I saw what others like Paul Jacobs, his son, was able to do at UC Berkeley. And in the Valley, you see so many examples of alumni giving back to their former academic institutions. I just felt it was both appropriate and necessary for me to do the same. You know, I think everything I've achieved in my career, whether you regard it as big or small, has been built on a foundation that was provided to me by the university, and it's something that I'm incredibly honoured to have been able to do to help the university move forward in its strategic plans by being able to pay a small contribution in that direction. So, in my mind, I think it was my responsibility, looking upon the behaviour of individuals that I hold in great respect and regard, that have been major influences in my career.
Yeah, thank you. And then what would you say to others thinking of donating to the university?
All I can tell you is the pleasure I have personally gone through in giving has been enormous. I mean, to the sense of achievement and the sense of doing good that you feel when you engage with philanthropic activity is second to none if you're in a privileged position to be able to do so. I think that all of us ultimately, what we leave behind is our legacy, and to some degree what's most important is not what you have been able to achieve, but what you have helped others to achieve as a result of your efforts. And all I can say is that feeling of being able to give back, and that feeling of being able to have enabled something that hitherto may not have been possible, and that sense of achievement you have when you enrich the future of young adults that could make an even greater contribution than maybe you have in the course of their professional careers, is something that's a tremendously uplifting feeling.
Yeah, thank you very much, Murthy. It's really nice talking to you, and I wish you, a happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you very much, thank you for the time, and I hope our association and our collaboration continues for a long time.
Certainly.
Really, really happy to have found the time to have the conversation with you.
Yeah, thank you.